It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome back to some more F1 25 and another part of our Toyota My Team career mode. Today we are back with the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. It is of course a sprint weekend, so we are here ready and raring to go in sprint qualifying. Car feels pretty good throughout practice. You know, pace is pretty decent, so I do think we can do a decent job here if we maximize the potential. So let's get ourselves into it and see how we get on. Well, purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2. Let's see where this takes us as we head up to sector 3. That is quickest, a 1:08.0. That is a very, very impressive lap time. And yeah, this car feeling very, very solid around here. Mercedes are looking good as well, and Ferrari, but we'll see how we get on compared to the rest of them here. This is a big moment, and yeah, 2/10 quicker than Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who was fastest in that session. Colapinto looking fast as well, so yeah, this could be a real opportunity for us around Brazil, and yeah, fingers crossed for more in SQ2. Here we come, SQ2. Can we do even better? Yes, we can. A 1:07.6. That is a huge lap time. We have got this car absolutely hooked up for this Brazilian circuits, and well, both Red Bulls are right up there as well. Interesting to see the Mercedes weren't up there. I wonder if they haven't set their times yet. George Russell only 6th and Andrea Kimi Antonelli only in 9th, but well, they might not have time to come out and do another time. Let's have a little look at our SQ2 times. Yep, fastest of everybody. Now, Colapinto, he couldn't match that. He's out in SQ2, so as is Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. So some big shocks in SQ2 there. But one thing is for certain, we've got pace, and we should be taking a sprint pole here. Well, this car is almost too good to be true, so I thought I would have you guys on board with me for our final go in SQ3 here. Obviously onto soft tyres now, so everybody's times will improve. Let's see what we have got. DRS open as we begin our lap here. Let's go. Little bit of ERS just as we pass the start-finish line, just to help us out here. And we come through the first couple of corners. There are a couple of cars ahead of us, maybe a little bit of traffic, but we'll see. That looks like Lando Norris in the McLaren. Purple first sector, exactly as we'd hoped, and now coming through this middle sector. This is where the car has been glued to the track, and you can see how planted it is. It really is in good shape. Little bit of a missed apex there, not too bad to miss the apex at that corner. Just give yourself plenty of room to hit the apex here. And look at this. This is an absolute nailed on pole position lap, you would feel. Purple sector 2, although we miss the final apex, and that could be where we lose out here. We're going to come up to the line, DRS open. What can we do as we head up to the line now to 1:07.5? But Max Verstappen was slightly quicker than that. Are we able to go any quicker on our second lap? I'm not certain we can. We've got time, but I don't think we've got enough energy to do it. We can possibly try and find a little bit more in this middle sector, but you can see already 4/10 off the pace, so it felt like it was a nailed on pole position, but it was the last corner that got us there. And it's Max Verstappen, the world champion, who will be taking sprint pole here, because we absolutely cannot find any more time here. But let's just see what we did lose through this corner, about half a second down. And this time get it perfect, and yeah, a couple of tenths there, and that's all we needed really. But we haven't got any energy to finish off this lap, so...
This lap, then.
Oh dear. That's not what we wanted. But yeah, we come into the pits, and well, Tsunoda has popped up in the P2 as well. This could be bad, because that is a Mercedes coming through as well. Are they going to go ahead of us? No, they don't. Antonelli's got a huge toe, and he's gone quickest. It looks like Kimi Antonelli has gone quickest. So we're going to be starting P4. That's a very big disappointment, considering the pace that we were showing. But I guess at the start of the session, we would have taken a P4 quite gladly. But, yeah, disappointing in the end. P4 is where we're going to be starting this Brazilian sprint race. Let's have a little look then at what happened, and I think it was... Oh no, it was George Russell. It wasn't Antonelli. It was Russell who had an almighty toe at the end, as did Max Verstappen. I mean, they found a lot of time in that final session, so maybe we couldn't have done it. We'd pretty much nailed our lap, other than the final corner. I don't think we had 4 tenths in it. So maybe we're just being a little bit harsh on ourselves, but we will be starting P4, and we will give it our very best shot in the Grand Prix.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the 2 DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Tsunoda, O'Sullivan, Lando Norris, and Hamilton, Antonelli, Ocon, Sainz, and Alex Albon, Leclerc, Piastri, Pierre Gasly, and Colapinto, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Lance Stroll, and Jack Doohan, Hülkenberg, Behrman, Lawson, and Fernando Alonso rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Well, we celebrated their first appearance on the grid. Let's look back now at what has been a really good first season for our new team.
Yeah, they've made it through the entire season in Formula 1, Crofty. No mean feat at all. And they've learnt a lot this season. They can take that knowledge into next year to hopefully have an even better season.
Okay, here we are down on the track then, and a real opportunity, you would have to say. Now, we want to keep the hard tyres for the race. Medium tyres will be absolutely fine for the sprint. I would expect that the tyres will start dropping off towards the end, but I think in general we're all right. Verstappen, interestingly, has gone soft tyres. He is surely going to be crippled by the end of this race. Gasly has also gone soft, so that is really interesting that there's a little bit of variation in strategy then from some of the front guys, and yeah, I mean, fair play to them. I think Verstappen is thinking of this as, well, I'm world champion anyway. I'd rather have a victory on Sunday. I'll try my best on the soft tyres, but most of the points are won on Sunday. That's where people will have stats that I remember me by. Another win on Sunday. That was an interesting little look at all the dust coming up there. Is that Tsunoda with floor damage? Perhaps. So maybe Verstappen is thinking, right, okay, let's give ourselves some brand new mediums and hards for the race on Sunday and have the best strategy advantage for the race. That's perhaps what he's thinking. Maybe not. Maybe it's just they've gone for softer tyre allocation, or not necessarily allocation, but just sort of strategy wise for the weekend. Goodness me, we hit the white line there. This hasn't been a great formation lap, has it? But it's okay. It is only the formation lap. Let's zone in on our own strategy rather than worrying about Max Verstappen's. And let's get ourselves into our grid box. Yeah, goodness me. We're going to have to up the front brake bias a little bit because we seem to be locking the rears a little bit too much. And that's all right.
Okay, incredible parking there. Nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
Just gives us a couple of extra centimetres. Ready for the start of this sprint race. George Russell starting on pole. Where will we get to? It's lights out, away we go for the sprint race. Max Verstappen off to a great start ahead of George Russell, of course. With those soft tyres, we try and hold it down the inside of turn 1, leaving plenty of racing room through turn 2 and through we go. And now it is a drag race. We're going to use a little bit of ERS to try and get past George Russell here. And Yuki Tsunoda's trying to get involved as well. But we managed to make the move stick and we are up now into P2. Lewis Hamilton is the one that's just behind us in P3. Great start from him in the Ferrari, the honorary Brazilian, of course. And well, we have a little lock up there. Not too bad to miss the apex there, as I said in qualifying. But yeah, our pace on the medium tyres yesterday was far better than anybody else. So I'm hoping that that will shine through this Grand Prix, this sprint race, I should say. Of course, we are going to keep with it 100% live commentary here. 12 laps to go with it. Max Verstappen is leading the way, but we want to try and break that DRS range to Lewis Hamilton. That's really what's going to unlock this race. If we can just focus on the back of Max Verstappen's car, then that's going to give us the best possible opportunity here to shine. And yeah, I mean, we're only 8 tenths ahead of Lewis Hamilton. That's not what we wanted, really. But we do go purple in that first sector. Let's keep an eye on that gap to Max Verstappen then. 1.6 seconds. Now, of course, we do think that Max Verstappen's tyres are going to completely fall off by the end of this sprint. So, you know, it is about us keeping within our range here and hopefully managing to stay within touching distance of Max Verstappen if we can. But we've managed to break the DRS to Lewis Hamilton. As I say, we had great pace on these medium tyres yesterday. Now, hopefully that doesn't mean that we're going to have huge tyre wear, but we're keeping Max Verstappen on us for now. 1.6 is the gap. But I think now let's just, you know, make ourselves comfortable in this race. Let's look after the tyres and just keep at a good distance to Max Verstappen, where we're not in his turbulent air, but we've got him in our sights, and if he was to make a mistake, then we'd be there to pounce. But I think if we look after the energy levels in this car and just keep a good distance, keep tyres in check, and I think we're going to be in a great position. 3 laps in to this race. And as I say, we are pulling a good gap to Lewis Hamilton right now. Certainly in this middle sector, we seem to have a good advantage on the rest of the grid. Maybe gone for a slightly more downforce heavy car. But yeah, try and avoid lockups, avoid wheel spin, and we'll be in a good place. So Max Verstappen leads this Brazilian sprint. He's 1.7 seconds ahead of us in second, and we are now 2 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton in third. Slight track extension there, so we'll get one more warning before it is a penalty, so got to keep an eye on that as well. Yeah, this is really nice so far. Let's have a little look at tyre wear. So we're already at 12%. Max Verstappen has got to be struggling on those softs pretty soon. I think we took them for 5 laps in practice and they were pretty bad at the end of lap 5. The sort of race strategy with them, and you know, one thing in particular that we were struggling with was tyre temps, so that is something that Max is going to have to contend with, but he's got a decent gap at the minute, and I'm sure he'll feel like he can hold us off at this sort of gap. But you can see our rear right is starting to feel the effects a little bit here. Desperately trying to make sure that that doesn't affect us, but it's going to be tough, isn't it? Keep an eye on it. But yeah, you can see that rear right is struggling.
Still looking good.
And that just seems to be what has been plaguing us in these last few races, is those tyre temps. And desperately trying to just look after the tyres and keep them in a good window, not pushing too hard through the corners or through the lap. To be honest with you, that looks good. Keeping the gap pretty consistent to Max Verstappen, 2.0 seconds at the minute. A little bit of overtake on this straight just to catch up a little, and you can see that does have a good effect.
So we're leading our teammate by 13.3 seconds.
That's not good. So now that's our second corner cutting warning. Same place of the track, so just need to give that a wider berth then. Yeah, it's interesting that that rear right tyre is feeling it, because it didn't seem to be particularly through the corners that was happening. It seemed to be on the straight that we picked up the most amount of heat, so I'll keep an eye on it. What is good is that we're keeping that consistent gap back to Lewis Hamilton as well. So here we go, using that ERS just to try and gain a bit of ground on the straight here. That's this corner. That's where we're finding that tyre temp is at its highest. And there's a lot of left turns here. Of course, anti-clockwise circuit. So it's not going to help. Starting to gain a little bit of time on Max here. Much faster than him this lap. His tyres starting to feel it as we head onto lap 8 of this Grand Prix. And I'm going to keep calling it a Grand Prix. By accident, of course. I know it's a sprint race, but This is a tough challenge, making sure that we stay close to Max, because Max has been so dominant in this entire season, really. I think he's won every race that he's finished, except one. So that's pretty insane, isn't it? 2023 levels of dominance this season from him, even in a car that's apparently not the best. You can really see how big a gap there is between the front runners and the rest. It's very much a three-tier sort of hierarchy at the moment. There's a 3-second penalty. I knew that was coming, but I couldn't do anything to avoid it.
Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your head down and let's get it done.
So I guess that means now we have to push. Now we have to try and overtake Max Verstappen so that we can try and get a 3-second gap to him. That means taking a few more risks, and it could lead to our downfall here. That wasn't a great corner. We should be okay to finish second, but yeah, I just could feel it coming. And same place, 3 laps out of 9. It's not good enough, really, to do that a third of your laps. But yeah, we just lost it a little bit into first corner, and then we were trying to gain it back. We should have just took it a little bit easier, but you can see now that we're pushing a little bit, those tyre temps are really taking a beating. But I think Max Verstappen's tyres are going to fall off the cliff. He might even get a puncture, to be honest with you. That is how bad his tyres are going to be, I would have thought. So we might even be able to gain 3 seconds on him, because we are gaining, and you can see that visibly. I think his tyres have gone. So this is going to be the chance now, and that makes it even more gutting that we ended up with the penalty, because we haven't gained any time on Russell. So it's not as if, you know, we've unlocked pace that we weren't showing. This is Max Verstappen dropping off now. So we're going to have DRS here for the first time in this race. DRS is open. A little bit of ERS to try and help us along.
Gap to your teammate behind, 18.8 seconds.
Maybe once we're out of Max Verstappen's gearbox, we might be able to reduce those tyre temps a little bit. Yeah, we need to make a move, and quickly, on Max, otherwise George Russell's going to come into play here. So need to be nice and close out of the final corner. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not close enough though, I don't think. Max has got good straight line speed, clearly.
Final lap. Push, push.
And this is the final lap of the race. Sort of snuck up on us, didn't it? Right. Put it into hot lap. I don't think we're going to pass Max here. So we need to make sure that we are 3 seconds ahead of George Russell, so that we finish second. Passing Max might help with that. Then again, it might not. We might find it beneficial to have a bit of a tow over the line. Yeah, good exit from the final corner, but George Russell is only 2.5 seconds behind us. Max Verstappen wins. We come across the line in second, but I think it's going to be third.
Yes, mate, I'll take that. Well done.
That's all right, though. P3, we'll settle for that. A shame about the penalty, but we raced quite well there. You know, didn't quite get Max Verstappen in the end, but... yeah, excited for the race tomorrow. I mean, I'm amazed that Max managed to keep his tyres in check all the way. But 6 points in the end, very good. We had the fastest lap, just slightly quicker than Max Verstappen. Russell finishes second in the end, Tsunoda third. Sorry, Tsunoda fourth, then Antonelli, Hamilton, Norris and Charles Leclerc. Gasly, the other soft tyre runner, also managed to make it to the end. Colapinto finishes in 12th place, so not entirely brilliant from the Toyota boys, but we'll take it. We've gone above Franco in the championship now. Russell, of course, helping Mercedes get even further ahead of us in the Constructors' Championship. But, of course, we will have another opportunity in the Grand Prix Actual, which will be in the next episode. So if you've enjoyed that, give it a big thumbs up down below. Subscribe for plenty more F1 content. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.